Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our class, and the topic is metals and non-metals. So, the scientist has divided the elements which are present in our earth broadly into categories, that is metals and non-metals. So, let us see the physical properties of these. So, metals are, this is just the overview of the properties, and we are going to study these properties further in detail also. Okay. So metals here are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous and good conductors of heat and electricity. On the other hand, non-metals are soft, non-lustrous, non-malleable, non-ductile, non-sonorous and bad conductors of heat and electricity. So first of all, we will see what is physical state of these. So metals are solid at room temperature. There's exception, which is mercury is a metal, but still it is liquid at room temperature. And non-metals are solid or gas at room temperature, except bromine, which is a non-metal, but still it is liquid state at room temperature. Now let us see the other properties, that is malleability. Now what is malleability? Malleability is the property by which metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Like you can see, this is aluminium foil. This is very thin. Aluminium is a metal, and this can be beaten into thin sheets. So it is used to make foil, which is used to wrap your food. So metals are malleable, and examples are gold, silver, and non-metals, they are brittle. Brittle means which is easily broken, so they cannot be beaten into thin sheets. They break easily, so they cannot be broken into thin sheets, hence they are non-malleable. Now we will see the property ductility. What is ductility? Ductility is the property by virtue of which metals can be drawn into thin wires. As you can see, this is a copper which is drawn into thin wires. So metals, they are ductile. Example here is copper, aluminium, gold, etc. And on the other hand, non-metals is brittle, matlab it is easily broken, so they cannot be drawn into wires, hence they are non-ductile. Okay. Now let us move on to the other property, that is sonority. Now the property by which metal object produce a ringing sound when struck with a hard object. So that's why these bells are made from metals, because they produce ringing sound. Okay, so metals are sonorous because they produce ringing sound. Example, bells and musical instruments, you can see they uses this property only. Okay. On the other hand, non-metals, they produce a dull sound. So when struck with any object, they do not produce any sound. So they produce dull sound, so they are non-sonorous. Okay. Now let's move on to the thermal conductivity. Thermal means heat. So metals, they are good conductor of heat. That's why they are used to make cooking utensils, na? Because they are good conductor of heat. Your mama must be using these cooking utensils in your kitchen to make food for you, and these are made up of metals only. And this is, you must have seen this kadhai. This is also made up of metals. This tawa, all the heating object, they are good conductor of heat, so they are made up of metals. On the other hand, non-metals, they are bad conductors of heat. Exception is there, that is diamond, which is a non-metal, but it is a good conductor of heat. Now we will see the other property, that is electrical conductivity. Now look on to the metals. They are good conductors of electricity, and therefore they are used to make the electric wires. Okay, on the other hand, non-metals, they are poor conductor of electricity. Only the exception is the graphite, which is a good conductor of electricity. Till now we have seen the physical properties. Now we will look on to the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So first of all, we will see how these metals and non-metals react with oxygen. Okay. So most metals combine with oxygen to form metal oxide. So for example, this is a sodium. It combines with oxygen to form sodium oxide. And non-metals, they combine with oxygen to form non-metallic oxide. This is carbon, this is oxygen, and this is carbon dioxide. This C is the symbol for carbon, this O is the symbol for oxygen, and CO2 is represent carbon dioxide. So non-metal, when react with oxygen, they form non-metallic oxides. Now we'll look how these react with water. So most metals react with water to produce metal hydroxide or metal oxide and releases hydrogen gas along with it. For example, this is sodium. Na is sodium, okay? And this is water. They give sodium hydroxide and releases hydrogen gas along with it. On the other hand, non-metals, they do not react with water. Now let's move on to the other. Now we'll see how these metals and non-metals react with acids. So first of all, metal with acid forms salt and releases hydrogen gas. For example, you can see this zinc. When reacts with sulfuric acid, H2SO4 is a sulfuric acid. When it reacts with sulfuric acid, it forms zinc sulfate and releases hydrogen gas along with it. On the other hand, non-metals, they generally do not react with acids. Now we will look onto the displacement reaction. In displacement reaction, metals reacts with a salt solution and displaces the metal present in it. For example, the zinc reacts with copper sulfate and forms zinc sulfate and displaces the copper. As zinc is more reactive than copper, so it displaces the copper from the copper sulfate solution. So this reaction is known as displacement reaction. That's it for today's class. Thank you for watching the video.